What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the MMA Show. You already know I'm your host, Hegart Gonzalez. Let's get fucking started. I already cussed. I heard somewhere that you're not supposed to cuss, towards the beginning of your YouTube video, because then, you know, the whole shebang. It doesn't really matter because you know, right now I'm not monetizing, so it's all good. But that's why if I'm not monetizing, if you want to support your boy, man, just go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button, and that will absolutely help me more than anything, bro. So if you do that, I appreciate you and I love you. Well, man, we got a lot to talk about. I'll jump into MMA here in a second, which is what you guys came for. But oh my God, did you guys watch the football game, bro? Okay, so if you don't know, I am in Kansas City, so I'm a Chiefs fan. Obviously, I wasn't born here. I'm not from here. I'm actually from Mexico, but I've been living here in KC for about 7, 8 years now, and by default I became a Chiefs fan. Not by default, but obviously because they're actually a great team. So I started watching them a long time ago, and I'm a fan. I could have been a fan of any other fucking team, but I'm a fan, bro. This fucking game against the fucking Bengals. Oh my God, bro! It was hectic as fuck, bro. Like, ain't no way. First of all, ain't no way that we got two touchdowns canceled at the beginning, and we still managed to come on top and win. Patrick Mahomes beat the Bengals, injured and without all of his starters. So, bro, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I knew that the Bengals were going to be a tough fucking game. Like, Joe Burrow is actually a savage. I was watching the game with my girlfriend and her family was like, guys, I don't mean to be, the bearer of bad news here, but Joe Burrow, bro, is on another fucking level. And he is. He played amazing in that game. Honestly, at the end, I feel like it could have been anybody's game, but it just happened that Patrick Mahomes got us close enough so that we could get the field goal, and that was it. That's all she wrote. So we going to the motherfucking Super Bowl, baby, and I can't be more fucking excited, bro. Last time the Chiefs won the Super Bowl here, what was it, 2 years ago? I went to the parade. Uh, it was probably the worst day of my life. It was on February something. It was probably the coldest day of the fucking year. Freezing cold outside, like negative fucking. I'm talking negative 15 type shit. And I know some of you guys. Oh, I'm in fucking Canada. It's -7 over here. All right, fine, whatever. But anything below like zero, it's pretty much unbearable to be outside for a long period of time. Um, and we went to the parade, bro, and I was wearing nothing but like jeans and Vans, bro, and like a hoodie. And oh my God, bro, I was fucking dying. But I was there 5 minutes in. I'm like, I can't feel my toes. Like, how many more we got? And people were like, oh, we still got like 4 hours of this. I'm like, excuse me? You're telling me I'm not gonna feel my toes for 4 hours? And it wasn't even worth it. I didn't even see any of the players, bro. Like, I think we ended up going home and just fucking watching it from the TV because we were there for like 3, 4 hours and like nothing happened. I don't remember what happened exactly, but I know it wasn't worth it. I know we didn't have a good spot. We couldn't see anything. It wasn't pretty much like the Royals. So when the Royals won the World Series, that was dope because we were right on the street where the bus came through, and all the people, the parade were walking by, and we got to see all of them. But with the Chiefs, it was so cold and so packed that I don't know. It was weird, and it's crazy because the Royals had actually more people on the street than the Chiefs. So that's kind of crazy. Anyways, dude, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm super excited. We're playing the Eagles. I truly believe in my heart we can beat the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes needs to get that fucking ankle cleared. Needs to fucking, I don't know, get a fucking $1 million injection of fucking, steroids and fucking stem cells and everything on his fucking ankle, and he will be good to go, all right? No one needs to know about it, Patrick, right here. No one needs to know about that $1 million injection, all right, for whatever the fuck it is that you're gonna put in your body. All I care about is for your ankle to be healthy and for you to bring the Super Bowl and to bring the trophy back to KC, bro. Let's go. If you're a Chiefs fan, man, if you're a Chiefs fan, put it down in the comments, man. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. Yeah, I'm a little bit biased, so yeah, I'm thinking that Chiefs are gonna win the Super Bowl. I was gonna give this whole breakdown of the Chiefs and the Eagles, but honestly, I don't follow football that much, right? So this is not the place for that. I'm sorry. However, I will give you my professional, unbiased slash totally biased opinion that I think the Chiefs are gonna bring the Super Bowl to KC, or win the Super Bowl at least. Now, I was a little upset because at the beginning of the game, right? So we scored once, we did a touchdown once, and he got it was he got ruled out because the ball touched the ground, right? He caught it and he kind of like laid on the floor. And then the second one, it was I think we ran it in, or I think it was I don't remember exactly, but I know it was Isaiah Pacheco who ran that in. Now, your boy had money on that, all right? I had two bets going on. I had a bet that Juju Smith was going to score the first touchdown of the game, and I also had a bet that Isaiah Pacheco was going to score the first touchdown of the game. So I would have made more money with Juju. I would have made a fuck ton of more money with Juju. With Pacheco, it was something light. I would have made maybe like put it. I want to give you the full amount. I mean, I don't bet crazy, but here about this. I bet $10 on each, right? With Juju Smith, I would have gotten like $190 back, and with Pacheco, I only got like 50 back. So I was like, oh, whoever scores, that's fine. It's money. It's fine. I don't care. And the first touchdown, I forget who did it, but again, it was canceled out. So I was like, all right, well, I got another shot. You know what I'm saying? And the Bengals got the ball, and then we got the ball, and no one scored a touchdown. So I was like, all right, bet we still got a chance. And then Pacheco scored, and I was like, I made some money because, bro, you have no idea. It's not a lot of money, but I have never. Well, that's a lie, but I was gonna say I've never won money like betting on sports. That's a lie. I've made money, but overall I'm negative. All right, so but I've never gotten like a big win like that. I always win when I bet like on the favorite, so I don't make as much money. And when I bet on the underdog, I always end up fucking losing. And it's I mostly bet on fights, by the way. I know it's MMA channel, so I mostly bet on fights. I rarely bet on any other sports. I bet on the FIFA final. I bet that France was gonna win, even though I was FIFA the World Cup final. I bet that France was gonna win, even though I was rooting for Argentina. That's a little trick that I kind of do. It's kind of stupid, so don't do it. But I bet on the team or the player or the fighter that I'm not rooting for. So if tomorrow there were to be a fight against, oh, actually, we can talk about it later. But they got announced that Israel Adesanya is fighting Alex Pereira. I'm rooting for Israel, but I might put money on Alex because if Israel wins, I'll be happy that my fighter won, and if Alex wins, I'll be upset that my fighter lost, but I'll make some money. So I do it like that. But what was I going with this? Oh yeah, I put money on Pacheco and on Juju, and Pacheco scored the touchdown, the first touchdown of the game, and it got ruled out again because I think it was a flag. It was. I was like, bro, I can never catch a break with fucking betting, sports betting. Like, I don't know. It's sucking me in, guys. I'm going broke. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, bro, we're going to the Super Bowl. All right, let's hop into some fight talk. Why don't we? Because we got a lot to talk about, bro. We got a lot to talk about. UFC. The Dana White made a video, kind of making some huge announcements for some of the upcoming fights for the upcoming months. A few of them were already kind of expected, kind of like the rematch between Leon and Kamaru, although there was talk that Kamaru was maybe injured or, he was going to take time off. So no one was really sure what was going to happen. But, it's booked now. It's gonna happen, I believe, in London, right? Actually, let me pull up the UFC website, UFC.com, so that I can see the actual fucking events. Yeah, of March 18th, Edwards versus Usman 3, the trilogy, the rematch. Um, Listen, man, I'll talk about this as I get closer to the fight, but I truly believe in my heart that Kamaru Usman is the better fighter of those two. I mean, of that division, to be fair. Um, I truly believe that with John Jones being out of the picture, Kamaru is maybe the pound for pound uh, number one rank. So it's MMA. It's what happens is you can dominate a guy for 5 rounds, and then at the last minute you get caught with the fucking leg kick that was perfectly placed, and that's all she wrote. So I'm not discouraging Leon. He's a great fighter. He's an awesome fighter, but he was getting beaten the whole fight. Now, you know, how many leg kicks get thrown? Not leg kicks, but how many high kicks get thrown in a fight? A lot, right? Not a lot. A lot of them land, but it's just that one needs to land. That one, and now you're a champion. So I'm not saying Leon is not a good fighter. He's an absolute phenomenal fighter. He's highly technical. He's got cardio. He's got the heart. And I already talked about this a little bit on a previous episode. That there's a separation. There's a separation between good fighters and great fighters, right? Like great fighters are people like Leon Edwards, right? That their coach is like, "Hey, motherfucker, it's the last round. You're losing. You have to do something, right?" And then he goes out there and does something and wins and ends up on top. Now that's a great fighter because a lot of this. Hey, I'm honestly, I've never stepped in a ring before. All right, I've never been a fighter or an octagon. I've never stepped into any of those. So, speaking merely from a fan perspective, right? I like to think that I have some good knowledge on MMA. But that being said, I'm able to see when a fighter kind of like the mentality is kind of not there, right? Where they're losing 3, 4 rounds and then they just kind of skate by and they just kind of hope, right, that something happens, but they don't really actively pursue it. So that's the difference between a great fighter and a good fighter. So, like I said, don't come at me, right? I'm not a fighter. I'm just merely speaking as a fan and as someone that claims to know a little bit more of the MMA than the usual population, which is why I started a YouTube channel because I'm, usually the MMA guy in every conversation. So I was like, hey, why not? But anyways, dude, I am excited for this fight. I'm excited to see what Usman is gonna do because Usman, does he have to make any adjustments? I mean, he was winning the fight. He won 4 rounds, 4.5 rounds. He was winning, bro. So what kind of adjustments is he going to make other than kind of come out there and I guess not get knocked out? Is that your main adjustment that you're gonna make? Because other than that, he was beating Leon, bro. And what it's mainly gonna be the tale of this fight is okay. What can Leon Edwards do to prove to the world that that kick was not a fluke, that it was not luck, that he can beat Usman any day of the week? What does he have to do to prove that? And in my opinion, I mean, there's only one really answer is obviously to win undecisively. So to actually, beat Kamaru maybe like 4 rounds to one or something like that, or knock him out early on the fight. Um, I do like. I what surprised everyone, I think, was Leon's wrestling in that fight. Although the first round, and then his wrestling kind of died towards the middle of the fight. But first round, he took Usman down. He damn near almost submitted him. Like, okay, bro, okay, his coaches should be like, all right, that's what worked last time. We were really close to submitting him last fight. Let's try that again early on the fight, on the round, on first round, second round, third round, and if you do that if you are able to do that to Kamaru 3 times, 3 rounds, sorry, you're set, bro. All you gotta make sure is you don't get knocked out. If you want to go for the knockout, sure, try to go for it. But other than that, you will be set. And I don't know. It's hard to tell which one is the better wrestler because Kamaru then out wrestled Leon towards the middle of the fight. But at the end of the first, he almost got submitted. Now I think it is tougher to wrestle on the first round, right? To be at least to be on the defensive side because you're dry, you're not sweaty, so you're not able to really slip out of things. If your versus you're in the fourth or fifth round and you get taken down and someone's trying to submit you, it's a little bit easier to slip out because you're both sweaty and tired. So it's a little bit easier as the fight goes on. But I'm still very interested to see, who's gonna improve on what. Like Kamaru doesn't have much improvement to do. Like maybe the improvement that he's going to do is to be more aggressive, to kind of try to finish the fight early, to make a statement. Like, okay, I got knocked out last fight, all right, but now I'm gonna come out and knock this guy out, right? I think that's what he should take. That's the route he should take. So I'm very excited for that fight. Obviously, I'll talk about it more as it gets closer. I'll come up also with a prediction for you guys, for you not to bet money on it because we know your boy has no betting skills as my bank account. But yeah, man, and obviously another one of those fights that Dana White announced was the rematch between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. That was kind of expected, right? I mean, there was talk of Alex fighting Robert Whitaker or fighting Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm glad those things didn't happen because, I mean, isn't it kind of like an unspoken rule to give a long ranging champion, an automatic rematch if they lose, right? That's kind of like an unspoken rule. Don't quote me on that, but I guess it's just common courtesy or something like that. That, okay, if you're someone like Israel or someone like Usman, that you've defended the title for numerous times and then you lose, I mean, you're entitled to a rematch, right? That's great. That's kind of like an unspoken rule. So I knew I didn't really entertain too much a fight with Khamzat because that would have been a great fight. Alex Pereira versus Khamzat Chimaev. That would have been a great fight because we all know what Alex can do on the feet, and we all know what Khamzat can do on the ground. So it would have been very interesting to see how Alex can navigate that. Obviously, Hamza would have been the favorite on that one just because of his wrestling and because we know the kid can bang, right? We saw it when he fought what's his fucking name? Gilbert Burns. Speaking of Gilbert Burns, he got announced that he's gonna fight Jorge Masvidal. That's gonna be a great fight. It's tough because I do believe it hurts me to say this, but I do believe that Jorge Masvidal is on the last leg of his career, if you want to say it that way. I mean, he's lost what, like 4 fights in a row, something like that. I know he's lost two to Kamaru. Yeah, he's lost 3 fights to four. I think three, but and then he lost to Colby Covington. So it's tough, man, because he's in a position that he absolutely has to win the fight, and if he doesn't, he's gotta ask yourself, what the fuck am I gonna do with this future, right? He came out after his Kobe Covington fight. He came out and he said that um that he needed to improve on his wrestling and that he needed to work on that. And he also said that, hey, the reason why I'm not retiring is because I have all these young guys coming in the gym, right? And I'm still able to keep up. I'm still able to keep up the pace with these younger guys. So good for him, man. If he's able to do that, that's great. I mean, obviously, I want to see him fight for as long as he can. But the guys made some great money. The guys obviously had some big fights. I think he now is in a position where, after the Burns fight, maybe he should pursue those big money fights, right? People like, I don't know, Conor McGregor or fucking Dustin Poirier, right? Something like that. Some of those big name fights that will really just get him paid and put him in a good track for him to retire and do something else. I mean, obviously he could also box or stuff like that, but you never know. But that's going to be an interesting fight, especially because Gilbert is kind of has some momentum going on right now. Everyone's been kind of like on a Gilbert hype ever since he fought Hamzat. So I'm very, very interested. And he just fought, right? I think he just fought. So I'm very, very interested to see what Gilbert can do. Gilbert fought in Brazil. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He fought. Oh yeah, he fought Neil Magny. And he won round one. By submission. I didn't really see that whole card, guys, and I know I didn't provide a breakdown either. I usually edit. I usually record a video after a big card like this. But life happens. Being busy happens. So I'm kind of upset that Glover lost. But I'm also kind of happy that Brandon Moreno won. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Props to Jamal Hill though, man. He's a dog. I saw some of the highlights of the fight. So he's a fucking dog. The guy can take it, and he proved to be worthy of lightweight gold. Um, Now it's gonna be interesting to kind of see what he can do with that. A lot of people, maybe including myself, want to see him fight. Either Giri Prohaska when he comes back, or the one that everyone's kind of talking about right now is Ankalaev, right? Because he's kind of like the uncrowned champ, right? And it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens there. Honestly, it all kind of dictates to see if Jiri gets healthy or not. If Jiri doesn't get healthy within the next couple of months, I do believe they'll give him Ankalaev. If for some reason Ankalaev is not available, you have what's his fucking name? John Bahovic. So that fucking division right now has some potential, has some really really good potential. So I'm very excited to see what can happen there. Because those top three guys are obviously at the top of the food chain, and we already saw Ankalaev versus John Bahovic. It was a good fight according to Dana White. It was a snooze fest. I didn't agree with it, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, man. Can Jamal Hill defend the title against a savage like Ankalaev? I don't know. It's a tough fucking matchup. And then obviously you got the king, the uncrowned king, Jiri Prohaska, who has to get healthy and come back and reclaim his title. So that's gonna be a great one. I'm happy for my boy Brandon Moreno, man. Mexico, ya tu sabe. The guy completely just this one is the one that I knew. I mean, I looked at both fighters and I was like, all right, it's gonna be who out of these two fighters has won the most rounds out of the three fights I already had. And I looked at it and I looked at Brandon. I saw Brandon was the better fighter. Now I know Davison was kind of arguing that he got eye poked, but it wasn't. When you see the review, the preview, the replay, whatever, you see the first punch kind of hits him with this, right? With kind of like the knuckle like this, which is completely legal, right? If you kind of hit the knuckle like that, that's not an eye poke. That's a punch to the eye. It's completely legal. And then the second one, Brandon, I'll give you that. Brandon does kind of go like this, but I think he touches him like right here, like that. Like there was never a fingernail or top of the finger in an eye in any situation. So it was a win for Brandon Moreno. I feel really good that he brought the title back to Mexico. So let's get it, man. Let's get it done. I'm excited to see who he's gonna fight next because um, let me look at the rankings here for that division. You got Pantoja. Oh yeah, Pantoja, and they kind of squared up right after the fight. I saw that they kind of squared up to each other after the fight, or I think Pantoja confronted him after the fight. So that's a great fight, man. I'm not super familiar with Pantoja. I know he's a really good fighter. I mean, he's ranked number two for a reason, but I think obviously he's next. You got Kai Kara France. You got a few other names in there, but I think Pantoja is definitely the next one. I wonder when they're gonna make that fight. Probably sometime around the summer. If I had to guess, maybe Brandon maybe wants to chill a little bit. Um, Another fight that got announced, or I guess that's coming up. Fuck. Sorry. Upcoming Cheeto Vera versus Sanhagen. That's a great fucking fight, bro. That's gonna be a great fight. I'll break that down as it gets closer, but stylistically, oh my god, dude. Sanhagen is a fucking wizard. And Cheeto Vera is just a fucking savage, you know. I don't know. It's gonna be amazing. I know it's a very general breakdown, guys, but I promise you, I'll give you one as the day gets closer. And then we also talked about this one is John Jones versus Cyril Gain. You already know my opinion on that. If you haven't, go listen to my previous episode. And yeah, and also we had, I believe, Justin Gagey under the John Jones card. Oh no, we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Valentina Shevchenko is one of those fighters that I don't know where she's at right now because she looked against everyone else. She looked absolutely dominant. She looked unbeatable. I mean, I think she's the number one pound for pound woman, or I think Amanda Nunes got it back. Um, but yeah, she. Oh no, she. Yeah, she got it back. So she's ranked number two in pound for pound for women. Now Valentina, you know, she out of all of her performances has looked absolutely dominant. Sorry guys, absolutely dominant. I mean, no one can touch her, no one can beat her, nothing. And then here comes this girl, you know, who pretty much shocked the world. Her name was Tayla Santos, and damn near almost beat Shevchenko. It was a very very close fight. A lot of people thought that maybe Tala Santos won. I thought Shevchenko won the fight, but it's kind of interesting to see because that you're wondering what that does to someone like Shevchenko and her mind. Like, okay, like why do I gotta improve? Luckily, I do think Shevchenko is one of those fighters that are very, very strong minded. So I think she will do the necessary adjustments to kind of just make sure that never happens again. But that's obviously easier said than done. But you know, there's fighters that are like that. There's fighters that are like, okay, I gotta stop fucking up. I know what I did wrong, right? And I'm gonna fucking do it. So, perfect example is Amanda Nunez, right? When she fought Juliana Pena that first round, the first time, you know, obviously she lost the title. It was a huge, major upset. And then she was like, all right, I'm gonna stop fucking up. Here's what I really can do, right? And that's just what happens. There's champions, long reigning champions, get to a point where they get comfortable, man. They get comfortable. I'm not saying that that's what happened to Shevchenko because it was a very, very high level fight. I don't think she got comfortable per se, but I think she maybe underestimated Santos, and I think she definitely didn't do enough to win at least decisively. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what Shevchenko is gonna do, right? How it affects her mentally. But like I said, she's a tough gal. I truly believe in my heart she's the pound for pound goat. Amanda Nunez, you know, she's obviously dominant, but I think you know Shevchenko is in a very very excuse me better space head wise, right? So a loss or a near loss might not affect her as much, man. But listen, what I wanted to talk to you guys about too, man, was kind of leave you with this towards the end of the video too. So last year there was a lot of talk of like, oh, you know, three kings, right? So which were Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, and then obviously Francis Ngannou, right? So my question is, those three kings are all right now. As of right now, they're all gone. Like, there's no three kings anymore. There's no African, you know, descent, you know, champions right now as they had them. So my question is like, that's also going to affect the UFC because they were planning on a UFC Africa at some point, right? Dana White came out and say next year we're 100% trying to go to Africa. Now, how is that going to affect if you make a pay per view, an event, or a fight night in Africa? How's that going to affect not having your three African champions, right? And obviously that depends too on the rematches that we're about to see if they win or not. But if they don't win, I mean, I wonder why it's going to happen, right? Like if Adesanya is no longer champion, if Kamaru is no longer champion, and if Ngannou, who's no longer champion, what is going to be your marketing? Because I'm assuming that at least you would have one or two of those fighters in that card, right? You would maybe have a headline, Francis Ngannou, or I mean, maybe like a headline Adesanya, and co-main event Francis Ngannou or Kamaru Usman or something like that. Mind you, any of those guys, all three of those guys are all main events. So it's gonna be really tough to get them. Maybe one of them to say, okay, do you want to be in the co-main or on the it's gonna be interesting. So I don't think you can have all three or even two in one card. Now, if their egos go down a little bit, then maybe one of them would be down to be on the co-main, right? I'm thinking either Usman or Adesanya on the main, and then on the co-main it could be Francis Ngannou because I mean heavyweights, obviously Francis I think is obviously super popular, but I don't think he's at a level of a Usman or Adesanya in popularity, in my opinion. And hey, main events are not only about popularity, so they could also be about skill. So, but unfortunately, it's also a lot about popularity. So it's just kind of the way it is. So, but I don't see Adesanya or Usman saying, "Okay, I'm gonna take the co-main," because Usman, he's like, "Hey, bitch, I'm the previously was the pound for pound, right? Maybe he's still going to be when he defeats Edwards." And Adesanya is like, "Hey, man, I'm the fucking best, one of the ghosts that have ever seen the sport. So, how dare you put me in the co-main, right?" Whereas Ngannou doesn't really have that leverage. And listen, this is all hypothetical because now there's no more three kings, right? There's only two princesses, two princesses. I don't know. There's only two prince. I don't know. I won't fucking stop saying it. In the UFC right now, they're not kings, right? So we're gonna see what happens this year if they are able to get at least two of those kings back, right? Then the UFC is back on track for an event in Africa, and now you can have maybe potentially have both of them in one main event. In one main card, or just have one of them, honestly. But we're gonna see. I mean, it's gonna be really interesting. Or they can go twice, right? And one of them can be headlined by Kamaru, and the other one can be headlined by Adesanya. But again, this is all potentially gonna be happening only if they both regain their title, or at least one of them. Now, this is something that I noticed that UFC do a lot. Is they do a lot of betting, right? Or like not betting financially, but betting in some fighters in the sense that okay, we're really wanting this guy to win so that we can do this, right, or this. Now, there's a couple examples of that. The one I just told you is one, and then also the one. Let me look it up here. The one for, in the case of what's his name, Alex Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev, right? They're doing the co-main event. It's a light. It's a fucking featherweight interim championship, right? So it's between Josh Emmett and what's the other guy's? What's the other gentleman's name? I'm heated. It's Jair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett, right? On the co-main for the interim featherweight championship, which is what Alex is holding at the moment, right now. So they are betting on the fact that maybe Alexander is going to lose, right? And they're also betting on the fact that Islam is not going down to featherweight, which is also why I think they wouldn't allow him right away, because they're gonna say, okay, hold up, Islam, I know you beat Alexander, right? So now you want to go to featherweight because you know you can beat this guy, and now you want to do it at his championship, at his weight class, so you get the belt too. But they're gonna say, okay, hold on, we're not gonna give you that right away. We're gonna actually first settle this unified, championship, right? Which is gonna be Yair and Josh, whoever the winner of that, versus Alexander Volkanovski, which is he's gonna have to defend the title no matter what. But anyway, guys, that was the episode for today. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for subscribing and commenting, man. Go ahead and do all that if you haven't yet. I will see you on the next one. Peace.